I only realized I was the villainous character after being reborn 3 times. Each life ended by the powerful backer behind the female lead. Save the big shot. Save my foot. That ungrateful wretch. Seeing the severely injured and unconscious business tycoon lying on the ground, I chose to step right over him and walk away without a second glance, knowing that the top celebrity was being chased by fans and used me as a shield to escape them. When I saw the star walking toward me, I pretended to be a fan and shouted, "Brother!" The heir to a wealthy family was secretly drugged with a springtime potion at a banquet. I turned the tables by leading the media to his room, capturing his embarrassing photos and causing Weibo to crash the next day. This time, after being reborn, I gave up and acted recklessly in every way. Yet to my surprise, those who had looked down on me in every past life now completely disregarded my revenge. They even shamelessly offered their faces for me to slap, begging for my forgiveness and favor. I looked at the familiar scene before me, took a moment to collect myself, then raised my middle finger to the heavens, making an internationally friendly gesture. Damn it, reborn again. After 3 rebirths, I finally understood that I am just the female supporting character in a story where everyone dotes on the protagonist. My existence is solely to highlight the kindness and happiness of my half-sister, the female lead. No wonder in every life, no matter how hard I tried to escape the fate of death, I always failed. It turns out I am just a malicious supporting character. So even if I saved those powerful figures in previous lives, they never thanked me, only suspecting I had ulterior motives. They hold me in the palm of their hands, despise my identity, and accuse me of being malicious. Every single one of them is an ungrateful wretch. As I recall the powerful figures I saved in my previous lives just to survive, each of whom ended up contributing to my death, I feel nothing but disgust. In this life, I've decided not to exhaust myself anymore. I'll eat and drink as I please since I can't resist. I'll just accept it. But how I die, I will decide for myself. This time, at least I'll die with some dignity. I dare not recall the fate of being left without a whole corpse in every past life. I'm so beautiful. I must leave behind a whole corpse, and I also need a grand burial site. Thinking of this, I decided to earn myself a burial site in this lifetime. This time, even if I die, I want to look beautiful. I've rarely gone out during this period. I clearly remember that in my previous lives it was during this time that I met my first big shot, Duanichang. Duanichang, a business tycoon, was seriously injured by his enemies and collapsed near my home. In my first 3 lives, without exception, I chose to save him in an attempt to change my fate. Who would have thought he's just an ingrate? After saving him, he ended up running to the female lead, offering money, people, and care, just giving the female lead a golden opportunity for nothing. This time, I don't want to save him anymore. Die, you scumbag. It's just that no matter how much I tried to guard against it, I still couldn't prevent it. I was holding the trash, looking at the man lying in the corridor ahead, dressed in a dirty black suit. His resolute and deep face was covered in blood, lying unconscious across the narrow passage. What bad luck. And he's blocking the way. I walked straight ahead with the trash bag, pretending not to see anything, then deliberately stepped on the wound on his chest, grinding it in without a sound. Duanichang groaned in pain from the step while unconscious. His handsome brows furrowed tightly, his face showing a pained expression. Serves him right. After I took out the trash and came back, I saw Duanichang in the hallway pulling the same trick again, stepping on it once more before returning home. That night, as I tried to sleep, the more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Tossing and turning, I grew increasingly restless. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I suddenly jolted awake as if rising from the dead, exclaiming in a near-death state, "Damn, I should have slapped him twice." The next day when I went to check, Duanichang was already gone. I was filled with regret, thinking I should have slapped him twice back then. I wonder where he is now. It would be better if he were dead, I thought maliciously. In my previous lives, he had received his help and harmed me countless times. In the end, when I died, he was an indirect murderer. For a murderer, I will never show mercy. Yesterday, stepping on him twice was going easy on him. If it weren't for the fact that murder is illegal, I would have definitely gone up and given him another stab. For now, I set all of this aside and took my bag to the company. The company where I work happens to be Duanichang's company. In my past life, I was constantly ostracized by those people. Especially after Duanichang found out about the conflict between me, And you? I hardly had anyone to talk to in the company, always being pushed aside and isolated. I had just sat down and turned on my computer, not yet starting my own work. Zhang Yan sorted out this table for me. Lai Yan placed the file on my desk with an air of superiority, issued her command, and turned to leave, watching her arrogant and leisurely back. I tossed the file right by her feet. Ah! She was clearly startled by the sudden movement, her face instantly paling with fright. Zhang Yan, are you trying to rebel? Do it yourself, I refused her. Just kidding. I'm not the person I was in my previous lives anymore, putting up with everything and being submissive. Li Yan was refused by me for the first time, as if she had heard some huge joke, and she threatened, Zhang Yan, you need to know that if you don't do it, there are plenty of people who will take this job, then call the police. I sincerely suggested to her, I just don't want to do it. And that's that. Li Yan saw that she couldn't threaten me, and the colleagues watching the show around her all averted their gazes, pretending to be very busy, clearly not wanting to get involved. Seeing that I was unyielding, Li Yan, in a fit of anger, picked up the documents and left a harsh remark before leaving. Zhang Yan, don't you dare regret this. I turned my head and saw the phone next to me lighting up with the word Mom prominently displayed on the screen. Looking at the two large words on the screen, I felt nothing but irony. From beginning to end, only you was her daughter, while my father and I were merely the shameful past that made her feel inferior in her current family. When Dad was still around, we weren't exactly wealthy, but he never let her suffer a single hardship. Yet, she ended up having an affair during their marriage. And when Dad fell seriously ill, she outright asked for a divorce. In my previous lives, I was naive and unaware of the truth. I thought it was tough for her, a single woman, to raise me, and that she married into a wealthy family for my sake. Little did I know that she and that man had been secretly involved all along, and the so-called child left behind by the original wife, Yu, was actually her own daughter. Everyone was completely fooled by the two of them. I hung up the phone directly, changed her contact name to her real name, Xiao Xiao, and casually added her to the blacklist. Mom, she's not worthy. Since my rebirth, I haven't gone to see you or the people around her. I've been eating and drinking as usual and occasionally clashing with some annoying colleagues at work. Xiao Xiao, probably because she couldn't get in touch with me, came directly to my rented apartment. Why didn't you answer my phone call? Xiao Xiao, dressed head to toe in Chanel luxury, surveyed my rented apartment with a disdainful frown as she questioned me. I replied indifferently that I didn't want to answer. Of course I wouldn't. With that, I shut the door directly. Xiao Xiao was left with a face full of dust, her refined features twisting into a fierce expression. She seemed unable to believe that her usually obedient daughter would dare to defy her like this. Zhang Yan, open the door. Xiao Xiao kept knocking on the door, determined not to leave until she saw me. Neighbors from both sides came out to watch the commotion. Xiao Xiao, who prided herself on being a noble lady from a wealthy family, was too embarrassed to continue shouting after being seen by so many people in such an unseemly state. She simply picked up her bag and slunk away. I thought the matter would end there, but it didn't. Not only did it not end, but even Y's father, who had always looked down on me, came over. The middle-aged man was well maintained, even though fine lines had begun to appear on his face. It was clear that he regularly exercised and took care of himself. He had neither gained weight nor developed a beer belly, and his whole demeanor was kind and gentle. I looked at him, unable to figure out his intentions. It's often said that merchants value profit, but as a corporate drone, there's nothing about me that he could possibly want. I glanced at Xiao Xiao beside me, her face gentle and obedient, still bearing bruises that hadn't faded, completely devoid of the arrogance she showed in front of me, like a canary that had been tamed. Yin Yin, it's been so long since we last saw each other. Your mother misses you. Why don't you stay at the Yi family's house for a while and keep her company? Father Yi looked at me with kindness and affection, as if I were truly a beloved junior in his eyes. Xiao Xiao beside him was taken aback for a moment. Noticing the meaningful look in Father Yi's eyes, she shivered and quickly put on a motherly affectionate attitude. Yin Yin, Mom misses you. Come home and see us. Home? That's not my home. I sneered at her. That's your home, Xiao Xiao. It has nothing to do with me. Don't think I don't know what these two wolves and tigers are scheming, just like in my past life. Wasn't he just trying to use me for a business marriage to bring benefits to the Yi family? Can't bear to let your own daughter suffer. But you can trample on someone else's daughter without a second thought. I looked at the bodyguards they brought to the door. Each one was strong and muscular. I knew I couldn't fight back. I resisted in my past life, and even though I succeeded, didn't I still end up dead without a whole body? Since I'm going to die anyway, why not make everyone else miserable too? That would make me happy. I accepted their insincere invitation. I watched the Yi family servants treat me with the utmost respect. While the ugly faces from my past life were still vivid in my mind, there was no room for me in the Yi family, so I casually pointed to one of the Ye's rooms. Since they invited me, shouldn't they show some sincerity? Mr. Ye's expression shifted slightly, but as a seasoned fox in the business world, he smiled and said, "Yin, you're so playful. Still joking with your uncle." "I'll take that room," I declared firmly. "Otherwise, I might as well go back to my rental place. Father Yin wants to bond with Xiaoyu." "That's right. It's been so long since the two sisters have seen each other. They should definitely spend some quality time together. Sharing a room will help them get closer. I want to sleep alone." "That's right. I'm determined to take Yu's room. Making her uncomfortable brings me joy. This Father Yi looks troubled. Then I'd better go back to the rental house. Nanny Jiang, move Xiaoyu's things out for now and put them in the guest room on the east side. If you want me to marry for your benefit, I'll have to make you pay dearly for it. I'm not having a good time, so no one else should either. This is just the first step." When you returned and saw me sprawled out on her bed, her delicate brows furrowed slightly as she said, "What are you doing here, Jiang Mama?" "Get her out of my room," Miss Uncle said. "This room has been temporarily lent to me," I said, imitating Yu's pitiful demeanor toward outsiders. "I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were so unwelcoming." Just at that moment, Father Yi arrived at the door. "Then I'd better leave since my sister doesn't welcome me. Take the path of others, leaving them with no way to go." Pinching the flesh of my thigh, I burst into tears, weeping like a pear blossom in the rain. "Shall you, Father?" Yes, angry voice startled Yu. "Yin Yin is a guest I invited to our home, and she's only temporarily staying in your room. Don't be so petty. Merchants are always profit-driven." "How much, mister?" Yu is well known among the upper-class circles. Now, for the sake of profit, he makes his own daughter stay in a guest room. What a great example of fatherly love. "Daddy." Yu was clearly hurt by her father's reproach, tears streaming down her face in large drops, looking utterly pitiful. Father Yi couldn't bear to see it, but he remained firm. It seemed to be the first time Yu had hit a wall in front of her father. Wiping her tears, she ran out. "Uncle, it seems Xiaoli doesn't welcome me. I should probably leave." I pretended to pack my things and prepared to go. Father Yi quickly reassured me. "Yin Yin Xiao, Yu is just being immature. Don't take it to heart. Feel free to stay. If you need anything, just call for Aunt Jiang. Treat this place as your own home." I nodded, still sniffling. "Since you said to treat this place as my own home, I'll have to do my part for this family now that I'm staying at the Yi household. Stirring up some trouble is definitely on the agenda. This includes but is not limited to during meals. When Father Yi picks up food, I spin the lazy Susan, turning it so fast it practically takes off. When Father Yi is in a meeting, I play music on the speakers in the living room and follow along with Lu Gonghong's workout. You ask me why I don't just do the workout myself? Because watching it is as good as doing it. Under the guise of showing filial piety, I served coffee to Mr. Ye, occasionally spilling it all over him. As for why I didn't target you, she spent little time at the Yi family home as a national sweetheart. She debuted as a child star and has remained active in the entertainment industry. Life is as lonely as snow. I swept the snail noodles, watching from across the dining table as Father Yi and Xiao Xiao wore expressions as if they had smelled something foul. Looking utterly constipated, I said, "What are you staring at?" "Snail noodles are a world treasure. Especially this bowl. Extra spicy and extra pungent. The ancestors of the Ye family lived too comfortably. I was so comfortable that I almost forgot that in my previous life, Chin, who happened to be chased by fans in the mall, ran into me, used me as a shield, and then escaped from them. I was holding the hypocritical supplementary card given by Ye's father, ready to go on a shopping spree at the mall. A dark, dense crowd was moving toward me. Damn, it's today. I looked at the man before me, wearing sunglasses, raising a hand to his lips to signal silence. Chinyu, the one this group is chasing after. A top-tier superstar. The dream of countless young women. In previous lives, I naively helped him through this crisis, only for him to turn around and start a CP with you on a dating show, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. He gave you resources to boost her popularity, ensuring her career path was smooth sailing. Anyone associated with you disgusts me. To avoid the fans, he leaned in close, repeatedly whispering, "Don't speak." Once the fans had passed by, and he was finally on the verge of successfully avoiding them, Chinyu visibly let out a sigh of relief. A thought struck me, and I put on the expression of a devoted fan seeing their idol. "Brother, you're here." The fan who hadn't gone far turned around and hurriedly gathered back before Chinyu could react. He was completely surrounded by fans. I quietly slipped away. "Enjoy yourself, my top superstar." Looking at the report, I laughed so hard my stomach hurt. Chinyu's face was covered in lipstick. His clothes were disheveled, and he was almost stripped down to his underwear by the fans. Serves him right. I took the opportunity to like every single comment from his haters in the comment section. Indeed, after abandoning my morals, my life has become much happier. "Miss Yen, we have guests at home," Zhang Ma called from the doorway. 9 times out of 10 it's a marriage prospect. Otherwise, why would a guest ask for me? I went downstairs wearing my SpongeBob SquarePants pajamas and froze at the sight of someone. Duani-chang. He sat in a wheelchair, looking haggard, with his assistant pushing it from behind. I looked at Duani-chang sitting in a wheelchair, feeling puzzled inside. In the previous life's arranged marriage, there was no sign of Duani-chang, right? Moreover, my gaze slowly drifted downward, landing on Duani-chang's feet. He was actually disabled. Well done. It's truly heaven's justice, I thought to myself. Yen, this is Mr. Duan. Father Yi smiled somewhat obsequiously. Hello, Mr. Duan. I nodded at him, but my gaze remained fixed on his legs, deliberately showing obvious disdain on my face. Duani-chang saw this but wasn't angry. He extended his hand toward me. Hello, Miss Zhang. I completely ignored his hand and walked straight to the sofa, then sat down like a boss. Mr. He stood while I sat, watching his barely contained expression. I picked up a piece of fruit from the side and tossed it into my mouth. Seeing this, Duani-chang was taken aback for a moment, seemingly not expecting me to refuse to cooperate at all. He then very naturally withdrew his hand, looking somewhat dejected. Wasn't there a playboy in my past life who wanted to arrange a marriage alliance? Father couldn't bear to let his precious daughter marry such a man. Yet he couldn't give up the benefits of the marriage alliance, so he was forced to have me take her place. How did it turn out to be Duani-chang now? I watched the plot that had been altered by the butterfly's wings because I failed to save Duani-chang. What about his legs? Then I watched his long straight legs curled up in the wheelchair. Was it because I failed to save him that day? So changing the plot was this simple. In my previous lives, I desperately tried to alter it but never succeeded. This time, however, a random thought was enough to completely derail the storyline. It felt both ironic and absurd. I watched coldly as Mr. Yi bowed and nodded, flattering Duani-chang, and couldn't help but laugh out loud. The atmosphere instantly became a bit awkward, as if the air had frozen solid. Beside them, the trembling Mr. Yi heard this and looked at me with eyes full of anger. I fearlessly glared back. What are you looking at, you old geyser? Mr. Yi was so furious he nearly fainted. Duani-chang, standing nearby, spoke up. Miss Zhang is truly genuine with those words. No matter how great his anger, Mr. He had to swallow it back. I looked at him with a strange expression. In my previous lives he wasn't like this at all. After I took him home he acted like a spoiled brat, and I never heard a single kind word from him until the day he died. Duani-chang seemed to understand the look in my eyes, and the smile on his face grew even more sincere, even carrying a hint of flattery. I must have been mistaken. Someone as proud as Duani-chang would never flatter anyone, especially when the target was me, someone he had always looked down upon. You happened to return at that moment, and seeing Duani-chang in the wheelchair, she put on an affected act. Brother Chang, are you here to see me? Duani-chang showed no warmth, his face cold as he spoke. Miss E. Brother Chong, what happened to your leg? You stepped forward, intending to touch Duani Chong, but he immediately slapped her hand away and sternly rebuked her. Don't touch me. You probably never imagined that her childhood friend, Duani Chong, would treat her this way now, and she was immediately stunned, watching this farce unfold before my eyes. I even felt like applauding. How spectacular! Duani Chong, who in previous lives had treasured you like a jewel and would have given her the best of everything, now regarded her with such disdain. Xiao Yu, don't cause trouble. Mr. Duan is here to see Yenny Yen. Father Yi scolded her, telling her to step aside. You looked very displeased. She turned her gaze toward me. Her eyes, which fans often praised for their liveliness and clarity, were now filled with venomous hatred, like a snake waiting for the right moment to strike, ready to tear someone apart at any time. I disdainfully looked away. Isn't that just how you is? If anyone gets in her way or takes what belongs to her, she won't let them off easy. Innocence and kindness are just a facade. Deep down, she's rotten to the core. I don't understand why she's the female lead. Is it because she's malicious? Miss Zhang, I've come this time to thank you for saving my life. Duani Chong stated his purpose directly. What? Save what? A life-saving favor. I looked at him with suspicion, remembering that I had given him 2 kicks that night. I didn't pick him up and serve him like an ancestor as I did in previous lifetimes. I have a reasonable suspicion that Duani Chong might have had his brain damaged by someone last time. I was fortunate to run into Miss Zhang since it's a life-saving favor. Shouldn't Mr. Duan show some appreciation? Who cares what trick he's up to? Only a fool would pass up making money. No wonder Father Yi has been so respectful to me these past few days, even if it's for a marriage alliance. Inviting me back home doesn't mean he has to keep enduring it. So it's because I'm Duani Chang's lifesaver. Seeing me speak so readily, Father Yi quickly stepped in to smooth things over. Yin Yen just loves to joke. Being able to save Mr. Duan is a blessing for our Ye family. How shameless. How did it become a blessing for the Ye family? They're just trying to take credit. I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh, mocking Father Yi's shamelessness. Of course, a life-saving favor should be repaid generously. Whatever Miss Zhang wants, Duan will do my best to fulfill it. Duani Chong didn't pay any attention to Mr. Yi, and instead looked directly at me. I want shares in your Duan family's company, mister. Yi was shocked by my audacious demand and was about to apologize when, okay, that's right. Duani Chong agreed. I really don't understand this world anymore. In my previous lives, I worked like a horse to save Duani Chong and didn't end up well. But this time, I just stepped on him a couple of times and ended up getting shares in the Duan family, casually asking for the Duan family shares. Who knew he would actually give them? Why? Duani Chong is a businessman. I didn't save him that day, so there was no need for him to actually transfer the shares to me. Even if I had truly saved him in previous lives, it's not like he showed any gratitude toward me. Really, has he also been reborn? No. Impossible. If he were reborn, he wouldn't feel any gratitude toward me. I haven't forgotten a single one of those belittling words he said in my past life. Even if he really was reborn, shouldn't he be looking for you instead? I stared at the share transfer agreement in front of me. There might be some conspiracy, but whatever conspiracy it is, would I still be afraid? At worst, it's just death. Now I've suddenly become a shareholder of the Duan family, after arriving at the company. Before I could even go find trouble with those who had given me a hard time before, Li Yan actually came looking for me first. Zheng Yan, it looks like you're leaving. What a shame. Li Yan watched me packing my things and hurried over to mock me. I looked at her without saying a word. Li Yan clearly took my silence as a sign of guilt. I already told you if you don't do it, someone else will. Don't cross me. In my past life, Li Yan caused me no shortage of trouble, and she was the first to do so in this company. I picked up the documents and headed upstairs, but Li Yan stopped me. Zhang Yan, the exit is over there. She pointed toward the door, a look of disdain on her face, as if she couldn't wait for me to leave sooner. I pushed her hand away. Hasn't anyone told you? I'm the newly appointed manager. You're superior. You're not wrong. If I don't take this position, someone else will naturally do it for me. Li Yan, I announce that you will take over this position. Do a good job. What are you pretending for? Li Yan pointed at my nose and started yelling. That's hilarious. You a manager. Mr. Yuan rushed over from the side, pushed Li Yan aside, and eagerly took the cardboard box from my hands. Li Yan, get back to your workstation. Manager Zhang Yan, hurry back. Do you want to keep your job or not? I looked at Li Yan's expression of suppressed anger and stepped forward, saying, I'm very sorry, but I am your new manager. I turned to Manager Yuan and said, let her take over my position and make sure to take good care of her. Young people need more challenges. Manager Yuan quickly agreed. Li Yan was so frightened that she lost her composure and started crying. She didn't want to do such dirty and tiring work, and she didn't want to be a punching bag. I don't know what tricks you used, Zhang Yan. I really didn't want to hear her talk anymore, so I signaled to Manager Yuan. Just fire her. Then I walked away without looking back, ignoring the ugly scene of Li Yan crying and cursing behind me. Recently, there was a banquet held, and I originally had no intention of going, but I remembered that in my previous life Gu Ilan, the heir to the wealthy Gu family, was ambushed at a banquet at the time. I happened to be bored at the party and went to the restroom, where I accidentally encountered him. He had been drugged with an aphrodisiac. I carried him away from the banquet scene, evading a trap specifically set for him, and took him to the hospital. A cinematic anime-style illustration divided into two scenes. Left side. A young couple standing outdoors near a modern building in greenery and soft daylight, both wearing neat-fitted service uniforms inspired by army and police inspector attire, tailored and elegant design, slightly open neckline collars, classy not revealing, natural romantic vibe, gentle expressions, clear detailed faces, soft sunlight glow, smooth skin texture, anime realism style, depth of field. Right side. A stylish young woman standing in a vibrant city street at night with neon signs and glowing lights, wearing a fashionable formal uniform inspired by army and police dress blended with high-end elegance, sleek fitted design, slightly open neckline collar, confident and graceful pose, long styled hair, sparkling accessories, rich blue and purple tones, cinematic lighting, dramatic glow, ultra-detailed face, sharp focus, digital art, masterpiece, 4K illustration. Negative prompt. Blurry face, bad anatomy, extra fingers, distorted hands, low quality, flat lighting, cartoonish, childish features, messy outfit, exaggerated body proportions, NSFW, revealing clothes.